The M433 is the first assault rifle you get in Battlefield 6, and I wanted to share my build specifically for Mastery 20 and under, as leveling your weapon beyond that can be a chore, and they actually adjusted some of that XP required to level up your weapon up to Mastery 20. After that, it is quite a grind, so I thought it was a very good idea to start making some builds that are specifically for Mastery 20 and under. Now, despite the M433 being the beginner assault rifle, it is still very powerful and has some of the fastest TTKs at any range among all of the assault rifles. Now, is it usable at some of those ranges? It can be argued that the recoil can get away from you a little bit because it shoots incredibly fast, so you're feeling that recoil a lot. And before we start, let's just talk about those damage ranges. So from 0 to 20 meters, you're doing 25 damage per shot with an average TTK of 217 milliseconds, provided that you get only body shots. 21 meters up until 80, you're doing 20 damage per shot with a TTK of 289 milliseconds, and beyond 80 meters you're doing 17 damage per shot with an average TTK of 361 milliseconds. And if you wanted to lower your bullets to kill, you would have to mix in 2 headshots at any range to start really seeing the benefit of the headshots. Now we're in the firing range here, and before sharing the attachments that I put on the M433, we're just going to look at the recoil pattern of it. So we're just going to fire off a full mag here. So as you can see, it shakes quite a bit left and right, goes up, not too bad, but a lot of side to side or horizontal recoil, which makes it so it's a lot more difficult to use at those longer ranges, unless you're really just tap firing, and even then it is incredibly difficult to control. So with that in mind, we're going to start off with the barrel. Now I chose to go with the short barrel. It does reduce the projectile velocity, but it gives you increased hip fire accuracy, and basing myself off of the firing pattern, the recoil pattern that we just saw in the firing range, this weapon is mostly viable in those medium-ish closest range engagements, which is why I chose to go for this one, because even though the projectile velocity is reduced, overall it wasn't super great at range. You would probably opt for something else. For the muzzle device, I'm a big fan of suppressors because they keep you off the minimap and they keep you off the 3D spotting. You could go with something like a converter that reduces the horizontal recoil, but I was using this mostly in medium range engagements or close range engagements. You could argue that the suppressor has no effect in close range engagements, but I really enjoy the suppressors in Battlefield 6, so equipped that. For the underbarrel, now I went with the stubby, which moderately reduces the recoil and enables a slightly faster transition to ADS at the cost of ADS accuracy while moving. Didn't notice this too much of a hindrance for this specific stat here that's being reduced. Again, you're using this weapon in closer range engagements, and it does make your ADS time faster at 200 milliseconds, which is really nice. For the magazine, I just went with the 30 round fast mag. Don't pay attention to these attachments here like the 40 round fast because the weapon's now level 29, but all of these attachments are level 20 or under. So this gives you basically just a faster reload, which is awesome. For the ammo, we're not changing it, ergonomics either. For the basic sight, I usually swap between either the OSA 7 if I'm playing a map where there's a lot of CQB engagements, or I'll go with a 2X. This is my preferred 2X here, the CCO 2X. This one, I don't like the reticle on it, so this one or the OSA are my 2 preferred sights, and both are available within the 20 mastery mark. And then finally, for the top accessory, I put the red laser. So the 5 milliwatt red laser. This one gives you a minor buff for hipfire accuracy, but it is not visible to the enemies. So it is still a laser. You get that bonus. It's not as good as like the green laser or this one, but it's not visible to enemies, so it's not going to give away your position when you're potentially holding a corner. And as we can see here, the difference is massive, but there's also a cost difference, and of course you're giving away your position if the enemies know what to look for. So go ahead and equip that. And with all those attachments, we are now capped at 100, so I made sure to utilize as many points as possible when making these setups and just maximize the efficiency of the points that we have available to us. And yeah, the M433 will absolutely shred pretty much anybody in CQB to medium range engagements with that really fast TTK. Some other assault rifles like the TR7 are slightly faster in that 0 to 20 meter range, but it does have a lot of kick and it doesn't have big mags. And yeah, the TR7 can be very difficult to control as well. If you haven't tried the M433 because you're like, this is like the beginner assault rifle, why would I even use this? Please trust me, use the M433. It just shreds through enemies in CQB to medium range engagements. and at longer ranges, just get used to tap firing, and you can still profit from the M433 with those accurate shots. You just have to really mind how many shots you're firing down range per burst that you're doing. But otherwise, yeah, a fantastic weapon. Can't praise it enough, especially for being a beginner weapon, which you get right when you start playing Battlefield 6. It is very much worth you looking into and using in the battlefield. So now I'll leave you with a few highlight clips of me using this setup with either the 2X or the OSA 1X. Let me know what you think about the M433. Do you like it? Do you not like it? But yeah, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.